Name is WSRX or Noah Clark, and welcome to Worldwide Sim Racing for the 2020 WSR Formula World Championship Bahrain Grand Prix. I can still hear myself on your microphone. It's probably never end. So we're just going to have to deal with it, I think, for the eternity of my lifehood. And I'm joined today, of course, by the always prevalent official Sully.
Thank you so much, and welcome to Bahrain. Hopefully it'll be a good one.
And we're in the nighttime setting of Bahrain. We're just waiting for it to hit 18 minutes because it's only showing lap. Yep, there we go. So 18 minutes of nonstop action, as I've probably said for every single week so far in this series of qualifying action. 12 drivers on the grid, flip-flop Fish, Sweet Crown 19 to Pastor Scar Logan, Jonathan Cox, WSR Gurman, Dempsey 62132, Nathan DeVillers, Damien Carroll, WSR used to be flying, Blank 101, and Nicholas 7349.
Flip-flop Fish is coming out on the grid, so are the Williams drivers. I'm not sure if that's both or not.
I think the other Mercedes of used to be flying is also out on track. I know Damien Carroll is now just came on track. I do believe there's somebody behind him. It might be the other Williams of Dempsey. Yes, it is. So both Williams out on track first. Let's ride on board of Damien Carroll. He'll be the first person to set a lap so far. If you didn't catch yesterday's race, it was the WSR2 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, an absolute mess of a race to say the least. Make sure to watch that by tuning in to YouTube, which you are watching right now, clicking onto our videos and looking at the WSR2 World Championship. On board of Damien Carroll. And not to mention, I think one of my favorite tracks on the F1 calendar. I know it's a little decisive. I know there's some not so fantastic corners like the one Damien Carroll is coming up to right now, this downhill turn 10. But in general, I do quite like this track. I love the nighttime sky, and I think it's going to be a good one. It was a good race last year, so I'm expecting the same this year.
Yeah, 100%. Last year's winner was actually on the track at the moment in the McLaren, who's also on the track at the moment, Nathan DeVillers. As you said, it's an 18-minute qualifying to see who will be able to put it on pole. It is a 15-corner track with DRS zones into turn 1, 4, and 11. And the first ever round was held in 2004, and in a 50% race, it'll be 28 laps.
And looking at that beautiful, beautiful papaya orange and blue McLaren that Nathan DeVillers is driving, one of my favorite liveries of the 2019 season, as we get ready for Nathan DeVillers to set his lap. Dempsey has come across the line, and he is now setting his lap. DRS open, coming down the straight in 8th gear, now braking hard and missing the apex wildly in the turn 1, making sure to correct it to hit the apex well into turn 2. Now through the turn 3 kink on the DRS again. Coming up on this DRS straight, it's another pretty bad camber turn, trying to turn in, locking the car up massively. He does hit the apex, but goes a little wide into the turn. Now into the chicane of Sector 1, and this is a downhill section, which you can get pretty well, and he gets it okay. Not keeping it on the curb, though, through there. Now, coming up to this dastardly turn 10, which hurts so many drivers very hard to get this right. Coming to that turn, you have to brake very early up the hill, and then just hits it perfectly, clipping the curb a little bit. Again, DRS activated. This is another start-finish straight for a few other series in this in the world. Now coming up to the uphill section of Sector 3. Very easy to lose the car if you hit one of the curbs coming up this hill, as we get ready for the last straight before the start-finish straight. Locking up again, doesn't hit the apex too well. This isn't going to be a great time from Dempsey, as he heads down the second to last straight of the lap and braking at just about the 100-meter board. Going into the final turn, a very good hit on the apex there, and then he's going to have a DRS. There is a yellow in Sector 3, and coming across the line, Dempsey will set a 129, and it's a 129.9. So not the fastest lap we'll see around this track. We'll see if he can do better. Flip-flop going into the pits. He just was going on an installation lap, I presume. I think Nathan DeVillers might do the same as well as he comes across the line. Nicholas goes faster. Nicholas goes faster. It's a 128.0, so definitely a lot faster by almost 2 seconds of a lap. And here's Scar Logan in the Renault, hoping to get a little bit of a better result. I just love how the cars look under this nighttime sky in Bahrain, as Jonathan Cox is coming down the straight. Let's see what he can do if he does a installation lap, or if he's going to be actually setting a lap.
Yellow flag in Sector 2. It should also be noted that the two drivers who have set a lap are on different compounds of tyres, with Dempsey on the mediums, while Nicholas is on the red wall softs.
You see me flying is coming down the final straight, then around the final corner. Let's see if he's going to be setting a time or it's another installation lap. Nope, he's going to miss the pit lane. Let's see what Yosemite Flying will do in the Mercedes. And Dempsey goes second fastest, and Yosemite Flying goes third fastest. It's the 1 minute 32, so definitely not the most impressive lap. Definitely going to have to make up some time in a few of the corners on this track.
It should also be shown that UCB Flying was also only 3/10 off Dempsey on the hard compounded tyres when the Williams of Dempsey was on the medium compound tyres. Which Dempsey's actually in the wrong car. He's meant to be in the Toro Rosso, but we'll address that at a later date. Flip Flop is back out on the track again on another set of soft compounded tyres. I'm not sure if they're new or not. I think they are new. Sweet Crown is also on an outlap on the hard compounded tyres as well. Also on track is the Papaya Orange Nathan de Villiers, the one of the two McLarens who are racing. He did come into the pits, so as it was an installation lap. You See Me Flying is currently on an in lap, I believe, and as well as Scar Logan. I think Sweet Crown 19 is on a quick lap though at the moment as he approaches the very off-camber curb at Sector 1, coming up to the first sector split into now beginning Sector 2 as he approaches turn 8, then into turn 9 and 10 directly afterwards, which are two of the most trickiest corners on this entire track, which is an off-camber, very, very left-hander corner. Let's see how well he hits it. A bit of lag as he hits it quite well actually, and opens up the RS to go down the back straight into turn number 11, I believe.
Down through Sector 2, DRS closing, coming up to the uphill corners, again keeping it off the curb. You don't want to be hitting these curbs too close. This is the real Dashley curve. If you hit that, you can spin very easily. Now coming around the penultimate turn onto the final straight. This is not a DRS straight, but again, still a straight nonetheless, and there is low fuel. There was a little bit of a warning light coming on with the wrench there. I'm not too sure what that was for, as he's coming around the final turn. And we'll see if this is just an installation lap. No, Sweet Crown will set a lap on these hard compound tires. What's the time going to be? It's going to be second fastest, a 1:28.6 on the hard compound tire, and that was a very good lap by him.
He's only 6/10 off the Red Bull of Niklas, who was on the soft compounded tire.
Flip-Flop Fish is on the softs right now, coming down that DRS straight. Gurman has retired from the session. What was that? There was a yellow flag in Sector 2, and I'm going to see if we can catch where that was. And Scar Logan almost going off track as well with a big accident.
Right. Sweetgrass approaching it now, I believe. It's just after going. It was on the left-hand side, approaching turn 8. No idea what happened. He could have just hit a curb wrong and thrown himself into a wall. De Villiers is now on an outlap on the hard compounded tires, as is Blank, his teammate.
And Flip-Flop doesn't take his lap again, so another lap with no time set.
I hope that was the same compound, because it'd be weird otherwise to waste tires. I'm expecting people to either qualify on the hards or the mediums today, trying to do a one-stop, as if you qualify on the soft, it's most likely going to be a two-stop race or a very difficult one-stop.
Riding on board of Tapastra right now in the Renault. Now on another lap, he's on that soft compound tire coming up towards, and there's a yellow flag in sectors 2 and 3. So the cutoff point of that sector, I'm not sure who that was for. Jonathan Cox in the Haas. He has not set a time, but he is on a timed lap at the moment. He is on that soft compound tire as well. So some of the other drivers trying to get as far up on the grid as possible, but again, maybe not the best decision to do that. Nathan de Villiers, I would like to mention, on an out lap right now on that hard compound tire, and he will go for this lap. Damian Carroll has not set a time yet. He's on the medium compound tire, the tire of choice, in my opinion, to set your lap on, and then go for a one-stop race. Blank coming out of the pits, I believe. No, that was Flip-Flop Fish actually coming out of the pits. Blank is not yet, and Scar Logan is way off track. Something is going on. He's letting off to Pastor, I believe, and his teammate As he's coming down the straight, let's see what Tapastor can do in the Renault. As coming down to the final turn on the curb a little bit, using as much track as possible. Coming around that final turn, the DRS will open, and diving into the pits is Tapastor. A lot of drivers not happy with their laps. Coming into the pits, there's only 5 laps on the board right now in qualifying. Nobody's very happy. Jonathan Cox goes fastest, though. It's a 127.2, a definitive on pole position lap from Jonathan Cox, and the Haas is on pole position at the moment. And then it is Sweet Crown 19, who's in 3rd position. Somebody just went up. I believe it's Damian Carroll, went 4th fastest. It's a 129.0. Or was it Dempsey?
On the mediums.
No, it was Damian Carroll.
Yeah, it was. Still interesting though how Sweet Crown is up in 3rd position on the hard compound tires, which is very surprising to me. About 4 tenths quicker than Corral, and about 5 tenths quicker than Dempsey. Flip Flop is currently on an outlap at the moment, about to come around the last 2 corners. It's officially called, but it's really a last corner, as this is technically turn 14 and 15, as he will now begin his flying lap, which I'm expecting him to abort again because he's on the soft compound. It doesn't make sense to me why he would finish on the soft compound.
He is considerably down the field of no time at the moment, sitting in 9th.
Probably waiting to do a medium run towards the end of the session. Well, a medium and a hard run towards the end of the session, trying to save the tire life. I'm expecting most of the people who went out on hards to go out again on mediums, and then do a one-stop of medium from medium to hard in the race. It just seems the most logical. One of the Williams is after going off track. I believe that's Damien. It's actually Dempsey who's after going wide off the track, and hasn't got front wing damage though. He might have been letting a driver through, but it looked like an awkward crash, as De Villiers is approaching behind him, I believe. Which, no, he's not. It's the other Papaya Orange
McLaren of blank.
Of blank 101.
Flip Flop Fish finishing sector 2. Let's see what that time is going to be.
I don't think he'll finish the lap though.
It's a 105.4. Flip-flop Fish coming around that straight. We'll see if he does, in fact, try to set the lap time, or he will just go into the pits. 5 minutes will be remaining, just about, I would expect. When he came out of the pits, there's a little bit of a wobble out of the final turn, and yes, he does go into the pits. No time set by Flip-flop Fish. Most likely a medium tire.
Blank is about to begin his lap. It goes very wide at the last corner, as he now approaches the line to begin his flying lap in the Papaya Orange McLaren, as he approaches turn 1, 2, and 3, which is a very, very weird corner to take, especially into a heavy braking zone of turn 1, and it is absolutely crucial to hit these corners absolutely perfectly, as it can more or less effectively scrap your entire lap. He is on the hard compound tire, so I expect him to finish this lap. Where he will go with those hards, I do not know, but I suppose we'll see.
As he's coming down to the end of Sector 1, it's a 28.8, I believe I saw there on the Sector 1 Delta time. As he's coming around near turn 10, again, the very hard turn 10 turn to get right. Let's see if he gets it right. Braking hard, and he's on the curb a little bit. Ooh, there's a slide out of the turn. That was a great catch by Blank 101, but will definitely ruin his time as he puts the DRS on. That was a good, big catch by him.
Yeah, definitely. It was very interesting, though, to see that he would have lost quite a fair amount of time, but I'd be very interested to see how much time exactly. We also have to take into account that the leaders are on the soft when he is on the hard, so we have to take that into account as well. The softs will be approximately 1.4 seconds of a lap quicker than the hard compound tires, the mediums being about 7/10 slower, if my memory serves me correct.
Blank 101 coming around the final turn. Let's see, DRS activated as he comes across the line. What's it going to be? It's going to be 7th fastest. It's a 129.6. That puts him into the top 10 in this race. I would like to mention that Tapastor, who is coming down the final DRS straight, is on a lap right now. He is on that hard compound tire. A yellow flag in Sector 2. That would be somebody.
That was the Red Bull letting through a Ferrari, I believe, on the straight.
which would be Sweet Crown 19. And going very wide is to Pastor. Out of the penultimate turn onto the final straight before the start finish. And coming into the final turn on the curb a little bit, hitting the apex well, not going too wide on the final turn. Let's see what he's going to do. DRS is open, and what time is it going to be for it to Pastor? It'll be sixth fastest on the grid. It's a 1:28.8. And sixth right now on the moment. 3 minutes to go in qualifying. That might be his final lap on the grid.
Logan goes seventh on the mediums. Logan goes seventh on the mediums as well, right, slotting him right behind his teammate at the Pastor.
Flip-Flop is about to start his lap. He's on the start-finish. He is on the medium compound tire, opens DRS, and here we go. A run for pole position possibly by Flip-Flop Fish. Let's see if he can do it. Coming in the turn one, let's see how well he hits this turn into the first turn and hits it beautifully, almost not hitting the curb at all, cutting the curb a little bit in turn two as you do, then over the turn three kink. And behind him is You See Me Flying, his other teammate, who is sitting all the way down in 10th position. A driver who is very confident coming into the Bahrain Grand Prix. You See Me Flying not sitting very well in 10th position right now. As coming towards the end of Sector 1, it's a 28 flat from Flip-Flop Fish in Sector 1. As he's coming up towards the turn 10 off-camber turn. Let's see if he can get it well, as we'll ride on board of him, braking at just about there and into the DRS detection zone, as he has a beautiful run through there, not hitting the curb at all. DRS open, and it's going to be very interesting to see the Sector 2 time. What's it going to be? How impressive will it be? A 1:05 was the last time I saw. Let's see how faster he goes with this one, going through the uphill slalom of Sector 2, and it's going to be 1:05.7, so not too bad. Flip-Flop Fish coming around the final penultimate turn onto the final straight before the start finish, and somebody's going slow on track. That was the Red Bull of Nicholas, I believe. Yes, it was. As coming around the final turn, Flip-Flop Fish will open the DRS, and let's see what time he's going to set. 1:27.5. It's only third position for Flip-Flop Fish, who will be on third on the grid unless anybody can upset him. Nicholas is second on the grid at the moment, and a very good first showing from him as he is coming in to set another lap, and let's see what he can do. I would like to ride on board with You See Me Flying, as he is the other Mercedes who would like to improve on his time coming across the line, and he will start a final lap in qualifying. Minute to go in the provisional time for qualifying. Jonathan Cox is on pole position in the Haas. He is on an outlap, so he would like to improve his time as well. But the moment, fastest on the grid, Jonathan Cox in the Haas.
You See Me Flying is on a medium compound tire, which is interesting to note. Blank 101s after coming out of the medium compound, as has Nathan de Villiers. Sweet Crown is also now out on track with the medium compound tires.
Only 2/10 faster as You See Me Flying in Sector 1.
That yellow flag is for Flip-Flop Fish, who was letting through one of the McLarens. I believe that was... Blank 101.
De Villiers is coming down the final straight, going to come around the final turn to set one more lap before the end of provisional time in qualifying. And yes, he will get time to set a lap. Whereas Blank 101, his teammate, he's not going to be able to set a time. The outlap is he's far too ways away from being able to set a time, as time will expire, and Blank 101 will not get a time to set another lap. So a bit of a blunder by the McLaren driver there, as four drivers have finished, as Damien Carolta, Pastor, and Dempsey have all finished in qualifying.
Yellow flag Sector 3, I think that's just the Mercedes of Flip-Flop Fish letting through his teammate of You See Me Flying, as You See Me Flying comes around the last corner now to set his lap on the medium compound tires. Let's see how far up he'll go. I expect him to at least overtake Blank. Yes, he does. Just overtakes Blank to go into 10th position. As now Sweet Crown 19 is now going to be is on the second DRS straight in Sector 2, coming into the tight left-hander of turn 11, going up into the second sector split, which will be a 1:06.124, 5 seconds quicker according to this.
5/10 quicker.
5/10 quicker. My apologies, as he now comes into turn 14 and 15 respectively, even though I don't consider turn 15 a turn. I just consider this one turn, but you know, FIA have their ways. And then he will open up the DRS on this back straight across the line to set his lap time. Will he go quicker than Flip-Flop? No, he won't. He will slot in behind. Flip-Flop and Sweet Crown, bar any changes, will begin on the same row of the grid.
And Nathan DeVillers is coming around the final few turns. At the moment, Jonathan
Logan's
Cox
out.
on provisional pole. Nathan DeVillers comes across the line, and what's that going to be? I didn't see. 5th position for Nathan DeVillers on the grid, into the top 5 with his McLaren. So on pole position is Jonathan Cox.
On the softs.
On the
It
softs.
should also be noted that Scar Logan also did crash at the end of that. At the end of the lap there, he actually crashed at the top of the second last straight after the exit of turn 13.
So
He somehow went into a wall.
Your top 5 on the grid: Jonathan Cox in the Haas in 1st position, Niklas in 2nd, also on the softs in the Red Bull. 3rd position for Flip Flop Fish on the mediums. Sweet Crown 19 slots behind him on the mediums, and then Nathan DeVillers on the mediums as well in the McLaren. So the 2 men in the front on the softs, so a very difficult race for them. The other 3 behind them on the mediums. Most drivers on the mediums, there's only one other driver on the softs, is the man in 6th position, who is Dempsey 62.
Yes, the 11th and 12th drivers, which is Blank 101 and Gurman respectively, will have a free choice of tyres as they qualified outside of the top 10.
And getting ready for the start. It is nighttime skies, a little bit darker than it was in qualifying. A little bit of clouds in the air. We aren't expecting any rain into this race. There was raining in Bahrain yesterday, but no rain as we know from the forecast in Bahrain at the moment. Getting ready for the start of the race in the 2020 WSR Bahrain Grand Prix. Jonathan Cox on pole position in the Haas car. Nice to see the Haas on pole position in this league. And setting along beside him is the Red Bull of Niklas, but both on soft compound tires. So a very difficult race for them, I presume. They'll be fast in the beginning, but this is a very, very high tire deg track. It is Bahrain, so I'm expecting them to be pitting quite early in this race, as it is going to be the 5 red lights. There is no formation lap, as here we go in Bahrain, and the 5 lights go off. Jonathan Cox gets a good start, but a little bit of wheel spin coming off of the line. I'm going to ride on board of Flip Flop Fish, as he got a pretty decent start, as well as a good start as Niklas. Going on the inside in the turn 1, and he gets the move done and dusted, and he gets in the 1st position, now challenging a Sweet Crown 19 around Jonathan Cox, as Jonathan Cox actually pushes off Sweet Crown 19, as he'll slot behind him in 3rd position. Jumping him is Flip Flop Fish. Also, Nathan DeVillers and Blank 101 are a little bit down the field as they go down a few places as well. Nathan DeVillers not having a great start in 6th position at the moment.
Blank actually gained a fair amount off the line, gained 4 positions actually, and it's now going to be quite interesting to me now. How
and Simi Flying spins a little bit, as hit from the back is Scar Logan, and that was a bit of an incident there. And now Damien Carroll is going to go on the inside of him, and Simi Flying it's going to get pushed wide. He's going to go really wide into the turn and almost crash. Yeah, no, he does crash a little bit into the wall. Half of his front wing is gone, and a bad start for Simi Flying as Damien tried to go on the inside on turn 10. Not really a great overtaking spot, I would presume, most of the time. Very hard to break there at
Definitely
all.
not.
And Simi Flying is the one who does not come off best. He crashes into the wall and loses half of his front wing. Going to have to make an immediate pit stop. And this is going to be a long race for a Mercedes driver who is looking to get a little bit better in this race, as Niklas comes around the final turn of lap number 1. 29 laps around Bahrain, and he is in the lead of this race. 5/10 faster than 5/10 ahead of Jonathan Cox. Sweet Crown 19 is behind them as well, and Flip Flop Fish in 4th position. Dempsey is in 5th. Nathan DeVillers is in 6th, and Blank 101 is in 7th, though he is trying to challenge his teammate Nathan DeVillers, who got a bad exit out of turn 2. But Nathan DeVillers might be getting a good run on Damien. And is he going to look on the inside of Damien? He's going to look, and Dempsey will Dempsey will have a bit of an issue, and they're going to go side by side into this downhill kink. And let's see, almost contact between the 2 drivers, as Dempsey defending well, but now again on the inside. Nathan DeVillers is ruthless on the grid right now, but then Blank 101 gets a good run out of there and takes over his teammate, and Blank has really just dumbed both of them, and now he gets into 5th position, goes too wide. So does Nathan DeVillers, though, goes too wide. He enters on track again, has a little bit of an issue on the curb, and this is madness down the midfield, as here comes Blank. Blank and Dempsey going side by side uphill, and then there's bid contact a little bit on the rear of Dempsey with Blank 101, and they're still going side by side on here, and still, wow, amazing. Going wide a little bit is Blank 101, and this is a major battle for 5th place, and then a lockup from Dempsey, and having to avoid is Blank 101, and they're going to go side by side down the straight. Lap 2 of this race, and already major action right now at the midfield, and braking later is Dempsey, and he locks up, and he goes wide, and going to get ahead of him should be Blank 101 as he gets a better run, but then Dempsey gets good traction coming back, but no, Blank 101 does take ahead of him, and I'm going to ride on board of Tapashu, who's going to get a good run on well as Dempsey. Dempsey will look on the inside, and then he's going to go into turn 1 again. Dempsey locks up, but Blank gets compromised. Tapashu going to try to look on the inside, and a penalty for Nathan DeVillers, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings already early on in this race as he makes a bit of a corner cut in the turn 1, I would presume, as this is an amazing battle at the top of the at the midfield, and still going side by side is Blank 101 and Dempsey. They are going at it lap after lap so far. Lap 3 right now. Is there going to be a move around the outside? He looks, and then another lockup from Dempsey trying to switch on the inside is Blank 101, but not going to make it happen. Now coming up to turn 10, what are we going to see? We've seen already some battling here as a hard break.
Your championship leader of Flip Flop Fish is actually challenging his closest rival in Sweet Crown 19 and last year's winner, and there are less than 2 tenths between each other as Blank 101 actually gets past Dempsey there, as Tapashu is trying to get in on the action as well.
Still side by side, Blank 101 gets ahead of Dempsey again.
It's definitely looking very interesting at the moment, but all of this definitely isn't helping Dempsey, whose tires are not going to be faring well after locking up so many times, especially having to begin on the soft compounded tires when everybody else is on the mediums or hards, except for the
number
top 2,
3.
Nicholas and Jonathan Cox.
DRS is activated, and a good run by Flip Flop Fish, and look at this, big toe with the DRS, and let's see if he can get it, and on the inside of Sweet Crown 19, Sweet Crown 19 will hang it on the inside, and he will push off, and look at this is getting a little personal here. We saw what happened in Germany. It's a very close rival between the two drivers, going side by side, and Sweet Crown 19 will try to go around the outside on the inside of Flip Flop Fish, and he gets ahead of Sweet Crown 19, giving him a little bit of room, and then closing a door on him. And at the moment, Flip Flop Fish ahead of Sweet Crown 19. Sweet Crown 19 backing off just a little bit from Flip Flop Fish, looking possibly make a move on that DRS straight. And we saw a little bit Sweet Crown 19 pushing Flip Flop Fish off track a little bit, and it's getting a little bit personal between the two drivers.
100%, and it's definitely going to be a close one. We're expecting the front 2 to pit sometime soon. I'm expecting before lap 10, and to probably do a 2-stop. I could see a 1-stop working if you're able to push the hard compound tires to the end.
Tapashu on the inside of Blank 101 and makes the move. Blank 101 makes a switchback though and gets ahead of him as well. And this is still a fantastic battle in the midfield. Blank 101 in 5th position at the moment, making a switchback. Tapashu goes really wide, and Dempsey now might be making a bit of a challenge on there. But then Nathan DeVillers goes around the outside of Dempsey, and he's got a great run out of the turn. Nathan DeVillers gets ahead of Dempsey by about a nose, and then he finally gets ahead of him in the turn 1. And behind them is Gurman, who was getting in on the action as well.
De Villiers did actually lock up into the last corner of turn 14 and 15 as he's now trying to gain onto Tapashu, but I think Tapashu just has a bit too much of a gap and might be trying to make a move on Blank 101 into turn 1.
And there's a dive from Dempsey on Nathan DeVillers and into turn 1, and then there's a bump a little bit from Nathan DeVillers, who bumped the front tires of Dempsey, and that was very, very close between all the drivers.
I do believe that the move from Dempsey was actually from a bit too far back, looking at it from that point of view. As Gurnman goes very wide there for a second and is now after losing time to Dempsey, as Damien Corral is now trying to catch up.
And look at this big off track for Nathan DeVillers as he loses a bundle of time.
Gurnman. As it now looks like Dempsey is trying to overtake Tapashu, but during all this, Blank is actually being able to get away from Tapashu, who's on the hard compounded tires. It's very interesting how this is actually happening, considering the absolute tire difference between these 4 drivers. Both of the Papaya Orange McLarens are on the mediums, when the Williams is on the soft and the Renault is on the hard.
And again, another lockup. Dempsey is locking up almost every turn.
his tires have to be shredded at this point. I'm not expecting him to go much longer. I'm definitely expecting him to be doing a 2-stop race
And
tonight.
Nathan de Villers goes around the outside of Dempsey, and I think Dempsey might have just let that move happen. I think he's starting to realize his tires might not be as good as they were at the beginning of this race. Definitely not in the best of days. Let's see any moves down this straight as we're going to ride on board of Dempsey. He's going to look on the inside, but no cigar as the pastor will, Nathan de Villers will stay ahead of him. And I would mention that Gurman is getting closer again, and he's got DRS now within DRS range of Dempsey. Dempsey, though, has DRS as well. And, a big lockup, but then Gurman misses his braking zone. Not a lockup from him, but he goes a little wide into turn and loses more time. And this is the same place he lost more time. Dempsey going a little bit on the curb there and gets a 3-second time penalty for extending track limits. And a move on the Villers and to Pastors. They're going side by side right now near turn 10. Let's see if Nathan de Villers does slot behind him. And I would expect a move possibly. Nathan de Villers slides a little bit into turn 10. And look at this battle for lead of the race, side by side through this turn. That's amazing by Jonathan Cox, still going side by side of Nicholas on the inside. And look at that, that was almost contact, light contact a little bit, but it is fine. Okay, Nicholas though going on the outside now of Jonathan Cox, outbraking who can break the latest. And this is amazing. And Nicholas just keeps it on the outside and then gets ahead of Jonathan Cox. Jonathan Cox though will have DRS coming down the straight, and he switches to the outside in the turn 1. Who will get the best braking? And it is going to be, looks like Nicholas got a better break as Jonathan Cox, though, hanging around the outside. Now on the inside, Flip-Flop is going to try to get involved, and now he's going to go side by side of Jonathan Cox, and he gets ahead of him. And so will Sweet Crown 19, I think, as well, in the inside of Jonathan Cox. And, this has not been a good few turns. And still side by side, no, Jonathan Cox coming off worse than all of this. A few turns, and now he's all the way down in 4th. But now Sweet Crown 19 is going to try to challenge his championship rival, Flip Flop Fish. They're coming up to that DRS straight soon, and this is going to get really dicey. But then Sweet Crown backs up a little bit. I didn't think he had a very good run through. There might have been compromised a little bit by Flip Flop Fish. Cox trying to look around the outside, not a really outside overtaking area. I'm going to ride on board of Flip Flop Fish. He's going to have DRS on Nicholas, and he's going to try to go around the outside, and he's got the lane. He's going to extend the track limits as much as possible, but no, just slots behind him. Now making a switchback, going to try to go around the inside, now going on the outside of this turn, and no, not able to make it happen, but he is still looking around the outside, coming into that penultimate turn, and here comes Sweet Crown 19. Almost coming on the inside of Flip Flop Fish, who again did not have a very good run, and now big swerving going on. Flip Flop Fish is trying to find an avenue to overtake Nicholas, and no, nothing happening. And Sweet Crown 19 almost goes to the back of Flip Flop Fish, and this is getting really personal in the top 4 in this race. I'm going to ride on board of Flip Flop Fish, who is going to have DRS again on Nicholas, and let's see if he can make the move, and he is going to get ahead of Nicholas. Nicholas going to go on the inside still, and then, there's contact now between Flip Flop and Sweet Crown 19 for sure. Dempsey has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He has made a pit stop. Finally, those tires must have been shredded, as here comes Sweet Crown 19 looking around the outside of his rival, Flip Flop Fish. Sweet Crown 19 trying, but no.
It does look like at the moment that this is a kind of a bitter
And oh my goodness, Flip Flop Fish almost lost it. Now, Sweet Crown 19 looking, and he was able to catch his car there, but that was almost a big spin out by Flip Flop Fish.
It looks like that this is definitely getting personal after the incident at the hairpin in Germany, and I don't think any drivers is taking this for lightly. Will Flip Flop be able to make the move into the braking zone? It looks like yes, he will, but I think they'll go side by side up the hill, as I'm believing the tires on the Red Bull will be shredded at this point, as we've seen with Dempsey, as Jonathan Cox is now dropping further and further back away from the 3 leaders.
And getting ahead was Flip Flop Fish. Sweet Crown 19 now is going to challenge Nicholas, and these 2 drivers who start on the medium tires starting to gain that advantage now. The softs have an advantage, but only for a few laps. I'm actually surprised that both drivers have been able to extend the life of their tires as much as they could, but now Nicholas will go into the pits, obviously knowing that his tires are now done, and Flip Flop Fish and Sweet Crown 19 will now battle it out for first position. This is the battle we've wanted to see since Germany, and it's happening now in front of our eyes. And this is going to get pretty dicey, I think, for the lead of this race. Now, again, with the history of these drivers, I believe some chances will be taken and some possible contact is very much in the picture here between the two Mercedes and Ferrari drivers, respectively.
What's interesting to me is that Jonathan Cox is after remaining out on his soft compound tires, which I'm guessing are pretty much dead at this point. I would expect him to come in at around lap 7 or 8, but it doesn't seem like it. As it looks like he might be trying to stretch a one-stop, doing maybe 19 laps on the hards, or doing a two-stop. I'm expecting Nicholas is after coming out, by the way, on the soft compounded tires, so it's been confirmed that Nicholas will be doing a two-stop tonight,
if not more. But I would expect that he just would have to do a two-stop unless anything else happens to him. As I'm riding on board of Sweet Crown 19 right now. He's trying to chase down Flip-Flop Fish, who's actually gaining a little bit on him right now. As one driver definitely has a little bit more tire life than the other. I believe Flip-Flop Fish might be that man. Despite the fact that he was battling a little bit more, I think, with Nicholas and Sweet Crown 19. Sweet Crown 19 has generally been trailing the drivers so far in this top 3 battle, but maybe that dirty air has really hurt his tires.
Cox is after entering the pit.
Now we'll see what he does. Now, is he going to go for a one-stop, possibly try to go on the hards? We're going to see, and no, it is soft tires again. So another two-stop for him at least.
Yeah.
Now Blank has found himself in 3rd position in this race.
Will he get jumped by Nicholas? That's the main question here, because they were fighting each other. It looks like Jonathan Cox is after coming out ahead of Nicholas. Oh no, Nicholas just in front of Jonathan Cox, as they are going to be having a scrap, both doing two stops tonight. UC Me Flying is still 19 seconds behind Dempsey, who is 32 seconds behind Jonathan Cox. Jonathan Cox after getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As Flip Flop Fish is still leading by 7 tenths, by about 3/4 of a second to Sweet Crown 19, who is leading over a further 9 seconds ahead of the McLaren of Blank 101, and then to Pastor just behind him, and followed by Nathan de Villiers. Flip Flop Fish is now continuing his pace as Sweet Crown 19 actually locks up, so Flip Flop might be able to gain a bit of a gap of about 7 tenths going into the last corner, even though it's technically 2 corners. I will emphasize that enough, as he will now go on to the back straight, as Sweet Crown 19 will have DRS, but I think he might just be a bit too far back.
Coming down that start finish? No, I think he's a bit too far back. He's going to be about 5 tenths coming into turn 1. And now 4 tenths.
Maybe into the next DRS zone is a possibility, but just the effect of dirty air through the last half a lap is just so extreme that you just lose all of the time you gain. It's so hard to overtake around here, even though the straights are so long.
Nicholas goes fast as 131.2.
De Pastor is now behind both McLarens. De Villiers has been able to overtake him. Nicholas and Jonathan are still in a very close scrap down at the tail end of the points. I don't think this two-stop strategy is really helping them tonight, as I do believe that everybody in the top 8 will be doing a one-stop tonight.
And thank you for joining us. If you are joining us, this is the Worldwide Sim Racing live coverage of the 2020 WSR Bahrain Grand Prix. You can make sure to check us more of our content on www.worldwidesimracing.com or subscribing to our YouTube channel for weekly content. It's lap 11 of 29 in this race. WSR Flip Flop Fish leads Sweet Crown 19 in this race at the moment. Nathan de Villiers, our previous race winner here from last year, in 4th position in the McLaren. Ahead of him is his teammate Blank 101, who started far down the rest of the grid and is at the moment in 3rd position on the grid, having started so far down, but has made up a oodle amount of time, and hopefully Blank 101 can get a good result here.
Sweet Crown's fast. Sweet Crown might be past here. As they go into turn 1, into turn 2, no, he's just a bit too far back, but he might be able to get on the next DRS straight. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't, as they approach into the next turn. As Sweet Crown 19 is now officially taking the lead into the braking zone. Now, yeah, and a Flip Flop Fish is a bit too far back, so now they go into the chicane just after the second sector split, Well, the first sector split into the second sector now as they approach turn 8, then into the excruciatingly tight corners of 9 and 10 as they go on to the next DRS straight.
I would like to mention that Nathan de Villers has taken a pit stop. He's on that hard compound tire, so definitely a one-stop strategy for Nathan de Villers. And Scar Logan is coming out of the pits on the hard compound tires. Used to be flying still on that hard compound tire from the beginning. Is 42 seconds behind Scar Logan LPC. And a right on board of Flip Flop Fish.
I believe UC Me Flying will be making another pit stop tonight. I don't think they'll be able to go the full 29 laps. Expect the last 10 laps or so to be done on the medium compound again.
And riding aboard of Flip Flop Fish, he is gaining a little bit on Sweet Crown 19 now. It's going to be really crucial down the start-finish straight. I think that Flip Flop Fish got the better run out of the last turn. As, let's see, DRS activated, and you can hear the DRS open, and we're going to get on board. Let's see if he can make a move in the turn 1. He's going to look on the outside, then fakes him on the inside. He's going to switch back, and that was an outrageous, fantastic switchback. But then Sweet Crown 19 still getting better traction out of the turn. Flip Flop Fish will, of course, have DRS down this straight, and he opens it up, and he's going to go on the inside. And let's see if he can make it happen. Side by side into the turn. No, Sweet Crown 19 able to close the door and keep ahead of the Mercedes driver.
Damian Corrales, after pitting, by the way, for medium compound, for the hard compound tires, going from the mediums, he will be doing a one-stop strategy tonight, as expected.
Nathan de Villers does jump in the pit lane.
Nicholas and Jonathan Cox have been scrapping a lot this entire race, and I don't think them fighting each other is really helping either of their strategies, which I don't think is really working tonight. But as we have a look back towards our leaders going into just after the next DRS straight into the second sector split, going into the third sector now, as it looks like they will be neck and neck going towards the penultimate corner. Don't expect an overtake here, as Flip Flop would want the DRS zone for the back straight. Let's see. Sweet Crown actually locks up there, and I think Flip Flop definitely got the better exit off that one. And now,
Flip Flop goes into the pits. Into the pits is Flip Flop Fish. Sweet Crown 19 will continue as the leader of this race. Blank 101 will overtake him in the pit lane. So will to Pastor, I believe. Gurman might be able to as well. Nicholas might be a little bit too far back. What tires, and it is the hard compound tires, and a definite one-stop strategy. And Gurman, I think, might just overtake Flip Flop Fish. Will overtake him coming out of the exit. Nicholas is a little bit too far back, I believe. No, Nicholas does, and Cox. And they're battling still, Nicholas and Cox. And Nicholas and Cox are going side by side in the turn 1. Flip Flop all the way down in 7th position right now after that pit stop. Where will Sweet Crown 19? Now Sweet Crown 19, all he has to do is go all out, go as fast as possible. Or does he pit now and possibly get ahead of Flip Flop Fish?
I think you have to try and respond to the undercut attempt from Flip Flop. I think the undercut attempt was the correct thing to do, but I think the two drivers in front of him of Cox and the Red Bull of Nicholas will definitely hamper him more than help him right now, as I'm expecting Sweet Crown 19 to pit at the end of this lap. Gurnman has now been promoted up to P4, which after his crash in qualifying, but he did begin on these hard compound tires and will have to make another pit stop. All of the top 4 drivers will have to pit. Cox is now past the Red Bull of Nicholas, as they are still going side by side, as it looks like Flip Flop is just losing
and
so
Sweet
much
Crown
time,
into the pits.
Sweet Crown is into the pits. As now, I do believe he will get in front of him. I do believe all 3 of these drivers will jump Sweet Crown 19 in the pits.
But will Flip Flop Fish be behind him? We'll have to wait and see, as now he comes around.
So. No, I think it's just he'll be right behind him. I think it'll be very close.
And I'm riding on board right now with Flip Flop Fish, and is he coming out of the pit lane? There is Sweet Crown 19. He does get ahead of him. Flip Flop Fish does get ahead of Sweet Crown 19, and the undercut has worked in his favor, and he is just ahead of him. But Jonathan Cox and Nicholas are fighting in front of him. That might help Sweet Crown 19 gain back that time lost to Flip Flop Fish.
Now, is Gurnman in the mood to being a good number 2 driver and trying to back up these these drivers to try and help Sweet Crown get past the drivers behind? Will he be a good driver and a good teammate to him, or will he just continue to race his own race?
I think Gurman has a little bit of that in him, but we'll have to wait and see, as he might be backing up. It looks like he might be backing up Nicholas just a little bit. Nicholas has DRS now on Gurman.
Yeah,
now,
he definitely is.
Let's see if he can try to make an overtake on the Ferrari, and no, he doesn't, and he's going to be behind him, and this is going to cause Nicholas, and oh yeah, I'm seeing it right now. Gurman is being a little bit blocky right now on Nicholas, and Nicholas is going to want to get ahead of him as soon as possible. They are going to battle a little bit, but no, and getting compromised, and then there's contact there, and now Jonathan Cox is going to be loving this, as he's just going to try to get ahead of Nicholas, and that should help Sweet Crown 19 possibly get ahead of him, and now they're still going to battle a little bit here as Gurman gets compromised, and then look at this, there's contact, and oh, look at this, Flip-Flop Fish is now at contact of somebody. I think he came off okay, no damage. Now there was damage for Jonathan Cox, who had damage because of the issue with Gurman, and now the two drivers, Flip-Flop Fish is now behind Sweet Crown 19, and that has really helped, and I think Gurman has been the one who's really helped Sweet Crown 19 get ahead of Flip-Flop Fish, but now the two Ferraris will have to battle a bit, but I think Gurman is going to let him by. No, I don't think they're going to be battling a little bit. But now Flip-Flop Fish is going to get into us. You can only help your teammate out so much. He's going to go on the inside of Gurman, and still going side by side now, and now there was contact. He go on the curb a little bit, now on the inside, and there was a lock up there from Sweet Crown 19, and now Flip-Flop Fish does get ahead of Gurman, and we're back where we started a little bit here, as Sweet Crown 19, though, was in the lead ahead of Flip-Flop Fish. DePaster and Blank. Yes.
Going back to that incident, I would consider that an illegal overtake from Sweet Crown, because that would have been under yellow flag conditions, so surely he wouldn't have been allowed to make that overtake. I think that one might be one that might be looked at the end of this race.
It was definitely a little dicey. There was contact made. I would suspect there would be a yellow flag, but the yellow flag was a yellow flag waved on track? I think it was still green flag conditions.
There was a yellow flag on track. I saw it in the top left-hand corner briefly. But now, the question is now Sweet Crown, is Flip-Flop able to get past Sweet Crown? Because now his undercut was more or less for
nothing. Is into the pits.
Oh yeah, so he is. And somehow Blank is still out on the medium compounded tires, which I don't think is helping his race even in the slightest.
No, I think he should pit immediately. I think he will respond to Pastor pitting. And look at this, side by side, Flip-Flop Fish and Sweet Crown still battling now on that hard compound tire, and this is a major battle between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Mercedes and Ferrari going side by side, squeezing a little bit of Sweet Crown 19 now, giving him major big girth in here, and now, contact again. Both drivers making contact side by side. The Sage drivers don't like each other. It might be a bit of an understatement. I think there is a deep-rooted sentiment between the two drivers of a little bit of dislike, to say the least.
It's interesting where Gurman's after coming out in the pits. He's after splitting the two Renaults, and he's now by Nicholas and Jonathan Cox. Jonathan Cox, by the way, is after going onto the medium when Nicholas is after going onto the hard compounded tire. It'll definitely be interesting to see that fight emerge. As Nicholas is on the hard compounded tire, but he did have to make a front wing
flip-flop on the inside.
He's now further behind.
Hanging it around the outside is Sweet Crown. There's contact again. A little bit of contact. Now side by side still a little bit. But no, Sweet Crown 19 does get ahead of Flip-Flop Fish. And Flip-Flop Fish will now, of course, have DRS down the start finish. But now will he just make the overtake before then? As I believe the better exit. No, well, let's see. As he's going to look on it. He does look on the inside. But no, slots behind him.
I'd rather have DRS in that situation, which if you get DRS detection back there, you have DRS for the next two straights. It doesn't matter if he makes the overtake right now, he'll still have DRS for
on the outside. In the turn one, will he make it happen? He's going to have to give him room as Sweet Crown 19 braking late and still going side by side. He has passed him, and he is now going to get DRS again, I think.
Blank has to pit still.
No DRS for Flip-Flop. The Sweet Crown 19 was the one who got DRS now on the outside, but no, Sweet Crown 19 not able to make the pass.
Maybe the speed trap is also the detection point, because I only saw one detection point, so that's probably where I messed up. As Blank still hasn't pit, I think that's a very bad move on his part, as he will definitely emerge now behind his teammate and probably behind Damien Corral as well, and DePaster. maybe emerging just in front of Dempsey, but his fight right now is with DePaster, so he should be pitting sooner rather than later, as both of the leaders are now approaching on him, and I don't know which driver he really favours, if any. But will he put up a fight, or will he just try and get out of their way and let them fight and let them be and watch from afar, as there's a yellow flag in sector 1, in sector 2 and 3, as one of the
Blank has gone off. Blank has gone off. This has ruined his race. He has not yet made a pit stop, and now his teammate will surely get ahead of him.
He's definitely spun anyway now. He probably spun by hitting the inside curb on worn tyres, which tends to happen. I now fully expect him to pit. He hasn't got damaged though, that's the key thing. The passengers, after getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, he's been corner cutting a bit apparently, as Blank does pit. Sweet Crown now has DRS, as he will also have DRS into the second DRS zone as they go up towards the hairpin, well, hairpin-ish, the first of the two spoon curves as I like to call them. As they approach up the DRS straight, will Sweet Crown go for a move? No. As the Pastors, after setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 30.871, I believe that was. Sweet Crown 19 is only 0.85 of only 85 hundredths of a second off the quickest.
Blank 101 is on soft compound tire.
You see me flying after taking another time penalty, but I think his race is more or less over. He's 26.6 seconds.
Dempsey is going really slow. What's going on with Dempsey? Is there an issue for Dempsey? As Blank 101 passes him on track, I think there's a major issue for Dempsey right now, as he's going rather slow on track.
There's no damage.
Yeah, but
has he got a puncture?
I have no idea if he has a puncture right now. I don't think so, but he was going rather slow.
His tires are 11 laps old, so that's definitely very interesting to note. You See Me Flying is still struggling at the very back of the field again after having front wing damage on lap 1, as Sweet Crown 19 is now falling further and further back away from Flip Flop Fish. Wait, Flip Flop Fish is... Oh no.
Maybe it was faking. That was weird.
I don't see the point of faking though, because you kind of know that there isn't going to be another pit stop, considering you're on the hard tires and suddenly...
Might have just been trying their brake slipstream.
Possibly, but it seems a bit late to be blocking slipstream. I just move to the inside line and not even risk accidentally going into the pits.
DePaster making a move on Damien Carroll, and he does make the move. Will Damien hold it around the outside? He's going to try, but no. A little bit too far back now, and DePaster makes a good move on the DRS straight and gets ahead of Damien Carroll in the fourth.
It's interesting to note, though, that Blank 101 is now on the soft compounded tires. He's doing a medium to soft strategy, even though I don't think that spin was kind of intended, as now he's only 0.8 of a second behind Logan, and only a further 0.6 behind... No, sorry. And only a further 3.7 behind Jonathan Cox. So Blank's race definitely isn't over, but it's definitely interesting, as the gap between Sweet Crown and Flip Flop is just keep on extending and extending and extending. As it'll be interesting to see though if DePaster is able to gain on De Villiers to challenge for the final podium position.
And we are just waiting to see, as Blank 101 does get ahead of Scar Logan LPC before the end of the last DRS straight. And Nicholas getting ahead of Dempsey. They're going side by side, and a little bit of battling at the back of the grid, as Nicholas does get ahead of him though.
Only 8 laps to go now, including the lap we're on. Well, not including the lap we're on, I believe.
There will be 8 laps.
Yeah, 8 laps including. I just had a bit of a brain melt, as the gap from DePaster up to De Villiers is closing every lap, as DePaster is setting quickest after quickest after quickest laps, as Blank 101 now is after getting past Scar Logan and will now be trying to gain on Jonathan Cox ahead, who is also in a fight with Gernman, as it looks like Jonathan Cox might be going for a move on Gernman, or vice versa. Jonathan Cox is
and there's contact. There is a little bit of contact there between Cox and Gurman, but Cox does get ahead of him.
Damage.
There was no damage, but there was side-by-side contact.
That's just racing, I suppose. Yeah, it isn't really that. Well, it's worth to to mention, as it is technically a non-contact sport, but it happens every once in a while. Blank is after getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings corner cutting, as Gurnman might try, is a bit too far back now on Jonathan Cox to make that move.
I would like to mention, I'd like to mention Flip Flop is now officially a second ahead of Sweet Crown, so no DRS now down the straights.
Do you think Sweet Crown's tires just began to go off after Flip Flop got past again?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, they both. I mean, one tire. If we look at details, Sweet Crown is actually got newer tires.
Yeah, I can see that. De Villiers is actually still being gained on by the pastor, I believe, but slowly but surely. So that might be an interesting fight at the end of this race to see who gets the final podium position. With Damien Corral only 2.1 behind the pastor again. As Blank is still trying to gain on Gurnman, but I wouldn't say Gurnman would let that position go easily. It's also interesting to note, though, for the first time in a very long time, there has been no retirements from a race. But don't put your money past that on.
Yeah, you're probably just ruin that. They're probably going to get something now. We called safety cars yesterday, so I would expect you could call an accident now. So watch it be known. Though I would like to mention, though, Used to Be Flying finally might have a battle on his hands. He's 3 seconds behind Dempsey.
But I'd like to point out that Dempsey is on fresh softs when...
that's true. Never mind. Forget it.
Laps are 20 laps old.
Yeah, forget it. Blank is actually getting very close to Gurman. Gurman is on mediums versus Blank on a little bit newer softs. So there is a definite tire advantage.
Yeah, definitely. But you can expect those softs to go up quite quickly, but they should be able to last a bit longer. Hopefully he'll be able to make this overtake and then maybe get the overtake on Jonathan Cox and then just be able to just hang in there. He might have to defend a bit though at the end of the race because Cox's and Gurnman's mediums aren't that old either. They're only 5 and 6 laps old respectively.
We do have to remember as well, one thing that drivers seem to forget is that there's also better acceleration with the softer compound tire, so better top-end speeds as well for the drivers on softer tires, so that definitely helps down the DRS straights.
Oh, 100%, but you also have to take into account the wear and how fast the soft compound tire actually wears.
But there's still it's not to that point yet. They're still too new to be, in my opinion, that they've wear that much because he is gaining on Gurn by a considerable amount. He's only 3/10 behind him now.
Yeah. You can expect him to go off after about 8 or 9 laps, I believe. And it's interesting to note that Blank is now very, very close to Gurman, as this is more or less the only...
Oh, but he hits the back of him. Does he get damage?
No.
No damage, but DRS down the straight now. He did go into the back of him. Gurman did not have a good run, braking a little bit earlier than usual, and now Blank has dropped back a little bit from that attack, and that does not help his case at all as he tries to get ahead of the Ferrari.
Now, Blank will be trying to close up on Gurman as they go towards the last 2 corners.
I'd like to note he's lost a bundle of time. He's now almost a second behind. That contact really killed his momentum.
And Nicholas is in a battle with Scar Logan for a point, I suppose. Like 1 extra point, as Nicholas is only 3.5 tenths off on fresher tires.
DRS on the straight, and he should get ahead of Scar Logan pretty easily. Yes, he will get himself into 9th position. Scar Logan dropping far back, and that was almost a no contest. There's actually a little bit of a squirm there from Nicholas in the braking zone. I don't know what happened from the back of his car there. F1 car acting very weird.
Williams off track. It's Dempsey, I believe. Yes, Dempsey's after spinning and is now trying to rejoin on track safely, but it looks like he might be overtaken by You See Me Flying. You See Me Flying's on very old tyres, and Dempsey's, I think, might be just a tiny bit fried after having that big, huge spin at the top of the spoon curve at the second sector split.
We're going to ride on board if You See Me Flying, and he should have DRS down this straight. Will You See Me Flying? No, what? Oh, no, I don't know what that was about. I would just go for it. You See Me Flying, make an overtake. Have yourself a bit of a race, lad. And Blank does finally get ahead of Gurman.
Dempsey goes very wide.
And no,
Blank does get ahead of Gurman.
I think, maybe you see Fine hasn't ruined himself. I thought he ruined himself there. Now, DRS down this straight. Will he make the move going on the inside of Dempsey into the turn? Dempsey closes the door on him.
I think the other reason that he was able to gain is because Dempsey went a bit too far on the first corner. He went very, very deep into the corner, which lost him a lot of time.
I don't understand why you see me flying fake pitted for any reason, because there's nobody behind him. And now Dempsey does go wide. No. So if Dempsey does get mistakes and Usami Fine passes him, it is only Dempsey's fault, because quite frankly, I don't know why Usami Fine would fake there. It's now made it harder for him to have this race. And now going, that was a definite corner cut. I would like to mention Blank 101 made a bit of an illegal overtake on Gurman. I don't know if he's going to let him by. I think he should let him by. And they're still going side by side. Yes, he has. I would like to mention a definite corner cut in turn 2 by Blank 101. I could just see it on the corner of my screen.
Yellow flag. Dempsey crashes again at the exact same place.
And finally, Usami Fine has made an overtake in this race. I think that's a round of applause right there. Very good.
Flip-flop is actually getting close to lapping his teammate, which is something I never wanted to see, but it did actually happen once this season already at France, the first round. Usami Fine is after pitting.
Why did he pit? Oh, he's still gonna finish last. I can't believe this. Why? I mean, I don't think he might get fastest lap, but we'll see. If he doesn't get fastest lap, we're gonna be gooning on him a little bit for the end of this race.
Can you go to Dempsey as well? I'd like to point out that he's ghosted on my screen. Are you also seeing this?
Yeah, he is ghosted. I think that's because he's ghosting because of the cars and the leader passing, because it automatically ghosts now.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay. It looks like Blank is about to make another move on Gurnman, because apparently Blank got overtaken again by Gurnman, as he will be trying to make the move. Blank gets past with relative ease, I believe, into the first corner. Will he be able to make the first corner nicely? Yes, he will. But will Gurnman will have DRS, but will he be able to make the move into?
I think he's a little bit too far back. He's too far back with the DRS. I think Blank might definitively have this position if he could just keep it clean.
Yeah.
Now Dempsey, I don't know what's right.
You see me flying pitting. I hope he realizes that you can't get the quickest lap.
Yeah, why is he's going to get quickest lap and no point. I don't know why he pitted. I don't know why he pitted. That was a bit of that was a swollen brain moment right there from Usami Fine. No idea why he pitted. He's not going to get the extra point if he does in fact set the fastest lap. So he's doing this purely for either egoship or just not knowing anything about the point system. It does not count, Usami Fine. I don't know why he did this. He will obviously get. If he doesn't get fastest lap too, it's also a bit of a blunder on him. Dempsey pits. So somehow Usami Fine in the complete and now Dempsey pits for soft. So now Dempsey believes he can get fastest lap as well. Somehow Usami Fine has found a way to get himself ahead of Dempsey, which doesn't make any sense. The bottom of the racetrack right now is more interesting than the top, to say the least. I would like to ride on board of Jonathan Cox. He's now 4/10 behind Damien Carroll, who is on hards.
Gurman is also very close to Blank as well. They're about to be both on the exact same straight as Gurman is going up towards the back straight. No, he's a bit too far away. I think those mediums are kind of dying on him now, as Jonathan Cox is still trying to gain on Damien Carroll. He's on 3 laps younger medium tyres. Their tyre life is about the exact same in terms of speed, I'd say, at this point, as it looks like Tapastor is still might be able to make a move on Nathan de Villiers within the next 2 laps, but it will be close.
Riding on board of Jonathan Cox coming in the turn 10. Ooh, having to avoid Damien Carroll as he had a bit of an issue down in turn 10. DRS activated. Damien Carroll definitely slower right now than Jonathan Cox. Can Cox get himself into the top 5? He started on pole position. Now only finished 5th, of course. That soft compound tire, not the best way to start. I don't think it's going to affect Usami Flying too much. He's a minute and 4 seconds behind. But let's see. Can Usami Flying now get the fastest lap of the race? Will he?
For no point.
No, he does not get the fastest lap. Will Dempsey get fastest lap? For no point. Let's see.
Probably not.
No. So this has been a complete blunder on their part. But somehow
Well,
You See Me Flying did get ahead of Dempsey because Dempsey had the same big brain idea to get the fastest lap and no point at the end of this race. Flip-flop fish, I would like to mention, has now gained a considerable amount as Damian Carroll has now, and Jonathan Cox are battling a little bit here as Jonathan Cox looking to get into the top 5. Damian Carroll giving him a bit of a battle on lap 28 of 29, the penultimate lap before the final lap in this race.
De Pastor is within a second. Will be within a second, I believe, on the back straights going on to the last lap, as he's now getting very close to Nathan de Villiers. The gap is about 1.049 seconds, according to my split time, which might not have updated very quickly. But he still doesn't have DRS, so it could be a lost cause just yet. But Nathan de Villiers will have to pass the lap car, most likely, of You See Me Flying.
But it will ghost, so we won't have to have too much of an issue with that, to be fair.
De Pastor, by the way, is still gaining on de Villiers. He's now he was within a second. He still is within a second.
8/10 now, and he is gaining on him considerably before this straight. This is going to be really interesting. Down the start finish straight, a little bit of a lockup from De Pastor going into the final turn. But now DRS down the straight is a little bit too far back, 0.6 of a second. I think possibly at the very end here. Let's see De Pastor. Can he make a late dive overtake? I think it's going to be close. And no,
Dempsey
he's not going to make an overtake here. But now, Dempsey does go quickest, but no point again. He's outside of the top 10. Now, can De Pastor make an overtake? Next DRS straight. He's 0.5 away. I think it's a little bit too far back now. Now he has to get really close to him on that turn 10 DRS zone.
Cox and Corral into the next corner. Cox has passed Corral, but it does look like there will be another scrap again, but Cox did have DRS down the straight. This is the final lap of the race, as Flip-Flop Fish will win this by about 2.2 seconds over Sweet Crown 19, providing he doesn't do something
blow up
idiotic.
His race. As here comes De Pastor, final DRS straight before the end of this race. Can he make an overtake? He's too far back. He's not able to do it. He had that chance down the start-finish straight, but I think there was an issue.
Nicolas on blank. Into turn 9 and 10.
Oh, they're side by side. There is definite contact there. Yep, blank with contact on Nicolas, and Nicolas does get ahead of him. There's a bit of push and shove.
Flip-Flop Fish wins the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Nathan de Villiers
another 3-second time penalty.
Will finish third unless something happens here. I believe De Pastor won't be able to do it just at the last moment. No, Nathan de Villiers will get the final podium position in this race. Let's see. No. Jonathan Cox will finish ahead.
I do believe Jonathan has a time penalty.
He does, but I think Damien does as well. No, he does. No, he doesn't. Damian Carroll finishes ahead of him. Jonathan Cox will finish in 6th. Where will Nicholas finish? 6th. Jonathan Cox below more. And look at this. This is unbelievable. Jonathan Cox having a horrid race just based on penalties. Flip-Flop Fish, though, has won the Grand Prix. A stellar race from him. Stellar battles. We will investigate that incident with Gurman with the illegal overtake possibly, but Sweet Crown 19 nevertheless did end up finishing behind him.
Logan's on a quick lap. He's on fresh softs. He could set the fastest lap here and actually claim a point instead of nobody getting that point.
Yes, he does he did get the fastest lap at the end. I did see the graphics. So Dempsey and You See Me Flying did not get their fastest laps of ego.
But why did Dempsey pit? And why did You See Me Flying?
No idea. Nevertheless, I know that Flip-Flop Fish is the winner of this race. Sweet Crown 19 finishes behind him. Mud all over the nose of that car. Somehow, the big nose of Prost has gone himself onto the podium again, as well as Sweet Crown 19. And thank you so much for joining us. This has been Worldwide Sim Racing coverage of the 2020 WSR Bahrain Grand Prix. My name is WSRX.
And my name is Official Sully. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your weekend.